Welcome to the October 23rd, 2016 Guitar Blog episode on composing melodic minor guitar ideas. Now, I should state up front that we're going to be viewing this scale as the jazz minor scale, so that means it's melodic minor, both ascending and descending. I'm going to clarify this a little bit more in the part 2 segment on this video, found on the members area of my website. So if you're not a member of the site yet, definitely sign up. There's a lot of great stuff on there. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Now, melodic minor is a very interesting scale type because its layout combines both minor tonality from the natural minor scales, lowered third, as well as having the major scales, major 6 and major 7. So the combination of tonal qualities tends to create a sound that slightly confuses the guitarist sometimes there in the early days of using it. It's a little bit minor in the lower note groupings and it comes across as very major on those upper tones. And this blend causes the student a challenge in a lot of cases where, they're trying to learn how it all applies and it's sort of an odd sound to get their head wrapped around. Plus, there's the scale's very different harmony. It has some strange chord types found within the harmony, and they'll make it difficult to phrase melodies with. Plus, they also pose issues in trying to create good backing tracks. We're going to have chords like minor, major 7. We'll have augmented chords. We're going to have diminished. We're going to have minor 7 flat 5s. There's a lot of strange chords in this scale, and they can cause some confusion at the start of learning it. So in this lesson, what we're going to do is we're going to look at a group of chord progressions I've put together that also have melody lines over them. I think you're going to get a lot out of this video. In the first half here, we're going to be looking at some guitar theory as well, so you fully understand how the scale operates and the chords that are associated to it. So let's get started by taking a look through some music theory that explains the breakdown of the melodic minor scale. All right, and getting started, I wanted to look at the triad harmony first for the melodic minor scale. Now, this is a harmony that's a little bit more balanced than what we have when we move to the world 7th chords, and we're going to get there, but we're going to start first here with triads, and I just want to run down what's happening. I did a layout here in the key of C, off of C melodic minor, and I want to just check out what happens with the chord qualities on each of the steps of the scale when we harmonize it. So on the first degree, it's pretty balanced. We have a consonant step here with a minor chord occurring on the first degree, another minor chord on the second degree, so fairly basic there so far. Then we get a little bit of dissonance happening here on the third degree with this augmented step. So we have augmented chord, which is of course a root and a major third heading over to an augmented fifth, so it's a little bit dissonant there to deal with that. However, on the fourth and fifth steps of C melodic minor's harmony, we have major triads, so all of a sudden we become more balanced once again. Where we run into an issue is on the 6th and 7th degrees. Now, these degrees here are diminished for both of them, so we have more dissonance. And when you step back and look at it, geez, we have quite a bit of dissonance here. Third degree, 6 and 7, all very unstable sounds. Whereas on the second and the first and the fourth and the fifth, we're not doing too bad. So we have some consonant sounds on those degrees, but it's just for the remainder, almost 50% of this thing is a balanced consonant sound, and the other 50% is pretty dissonant. So what I want to do is go to the studio. I have a progression I've put together, which is a very basic sounding progression. We're going to use a little bit of both worlds here. We're going to have a progression that's going to have a full measure on our one chord of C minor, and then we're going to move to the augmented and then to this second degree D minor. I think you're going to like the progression. I've got a melody as well we're going to try on it. So let's head to the studio next, jam that out, and then from there we're going to move over to the ideas of 7th chord harmony. All right, so in example number 1, we've got this melodic minor composition here with minor and augmented triads. The first measure is C minor from the root of C melodic minor. And then we're moving over to the third degree chord, which is E flat augmented. And then we're heading down to the D minor off the second degree. And what's going on overall is we're mapping the chord changes with a melodic example from the scale itself. Off the beginning there, we're targeting right into the root of the scale, hitting that C at 5th fret, 3rd string. And then we're running up the scale pattern there. all the way up to that high B note, and then we're heading over to the C again, over to a G, and at that point the chord of the moment is C minor. So some strong chord tones there, the root and the fifth, and then we're heading through another run. And that's covering the sound of that E flat augmented and the D minor chord. So the three chords are really unique, but the cycle that they create is a nice sound and it's fairly easy to jam on. You can get some good mileage out of the melodic minor scale that way. I think that's the first step that you really got to shoot towards, is look at the triads. They're going to be a little bit more consonant situations, more balanced situations, more stable. And shoot for that sound of being able to track everything initially with the triads, work with the scale a little bit, try and tie some lines together. And that's going to be a great way to begin. Because once you start adding in the sounds of the seventh chords, that's going to get things a little bit more challenging. What I want to do next, so we're going to take a short break. We'll come back and we're going to discuss the guitar theory and the music theory for what's happening with melodic minors, scale harmony for seventh quality chords. And then we're going to have a progression come along that's going to introduce one of those seventh quality chords. So let's do the theory first, come back with another progression, and just try to expand the use of the harmony a little bit further. When we take a look at melodic minor's seventh chord harmony, we encounter quite a bit of dissonance. Even starting right from the first chord, we have this minor major 7 chord, which is a minor triad with a major 7 on the top of it. It's quite a dissonant sound. We do have some basic consonants occurring there off of our second degree. So second degree is not bad, but when we move through the rest of the scale, build harmony from there, I mean, we have a very dissonant third step with a major 7 sharp 5 chord. Fourth and fifth steps are both dominant seventh, and then the sixth and seventh steps are both minor 7 flat 5 chords. They're both half diminished. It's really a difficult level of harmony to be able to build any kind of progression that's really flowing and has a real balance to it. It's so dissonant off of all these steps that what you're kind of doing when you're building your chord progressions using any of the chords that are tied to the seventh chord harmony in melodic minor is you're sort of cherry picking and saying, I'm going to start on this chord, I'm going to start on that chord, I'm going to maybe, pluck this one, use that as an example, maybe I'll pop this one in there somewhere, and maybe move a lot between what's happening with your triad harmony and with the seventh chord harmony to be able to create some level of balance. It's so out of sync when you're using so many of these dissonant chord types. So I do have some progressions that I've built for you so that we can look those over and have a good idea what's happening. So what we're going to do next is move back to the studio. I want to run through some ideas on how I've injected these seventh chord harmony ideas from melodic minor around the key of C and made some progressions and some melodies for you to try out. So let's go to the studio and tackle the idea of seventh chord harmony in melodic minor next. The Creative Guitar Studio Music Theory course helps a student gain vital skills for understanding music theory. It covers interval design, chord construction for both triad and seventh chords, harmonized chord scales, chord substitution, and minor key theory. Each unit comes with a detailed handout with exercises to help learn all the principles. And there's even an answer key to make sure you did each study correctly. Plus, as a bonus, every music theory unit has an accompanying MP3 audio lesson program that you can listen to in your spare time. The music theory course is available for instant download in the View Our Products area at creativeguitarstudio.com. Okay, let's take a look at example number 2. Let's start with the chord changes. We're starting off with a C minor, so the 1 chord, dropping down to the 7 chord, B diminished. Then we're heading over to G major, so that's the 5 chord. Then we're going to shoot into this 4 chord, the F, and then head on over to the 6 chord, which is this A minor 7 flat 5. So it's a really interesting group of chords. It's busy. There's 5 chords in 2 measures there. So there's a lot of movement, but the idea overall is that we have to match into this movement using the C melodic minor, and the best way to do that is to have a fairly busy melody that's also going to, at some points, really tie directly to the chord. So we're going to do that with our arpeggios. So let's start looking through what's going on with this melody idea. We're starting from the high 8th fret tone there, and really pointing into the C. So we're having a C start and a C ending there. And that's covering our C minor into the B diminished. And then we're going to move over to the G next. And we're going to have this move where it's like targeting into that E flat. And you're probably wondering, well, what's going on with the E flat, the minor third of the scale, while we have that G? And that's just giving us a really interesting color tone there. So we're putting the, the minor third idea, the E flat, and creating some dissonance on that chord, while we come around into the F and the A minor 7 flat 5. But the big part of all of this is that the E flat is a major part of what's going on with the A minor 7 flat 5. That's a real important tone. It's the flatted 5th tone of that chord. Really, really tied in note there. And when we finish that, we're going to push it a little bit more because we have this run that takes place off the F chord there. So more push into the E flat at that point. Now, when the progression cycles back around again, we're back to the top on the C minor, heading to the B diminished. What we're going to do at that point, because we've really kind of started to go outside with some of those melodies and it's getting pretty, out there. So we're going to tie things back in real solid by going through arpeggios. We're going to outline the chords by arpeggiating them. There's the C minor, and then here's the B diminished. So covering them directly. And then the G, same kind of thing. So we're going to wander once again into that E flat. So we're pulling back that theme of having an E flat occur on the G chord. So it's an interesting sound. It's a 6th interval sound there. So, and then kind of a pentatonic ending basically there, covering our F and our A minor 7 flat 5. Now the A minor 7 flat 5 is such an interesting sound because right within the A minor 7 flat 5 is a C minor triad. So the C minor triad is all within that A minor 7 flat 5 chord. So it's a part of it. It's a diatonic part of it. So really interesting sound there, and we're just going to target directly into the C to wrap the melody up. Kind of a major 6 sound on that. A little bit bluesy there. So, all together we have this really cool sound over all these chord changes here. All right. So that wraps up part 1, and in the members area, we're going to head next over to part 2, where we're really going to lean heavily into the 7th chord harmony. You're not going to want to miss that because there's a lot of details that are going to get covered in building your melodies around these 7th quality chords that are a big part of melodic minor. So make sure you join me in the members area for part 2 of this lesson of composing melodic minor guitar ideas. Thanks for watching part 1 of the lesson. Be sure to sign up for a membership at creativeguitarstudio.com to watch part 2. In the second half, we're going to be applying more sound from 7th chord harmonies of the melodic minor scale. I'll have more melody examples for you, and I'll be working through an explanation of really what's going on with this formatting that we're doing, that we're calling the jazz minor scale. Plus, as a member, you're also going to have the ability to download the handouts, not just for the guitar blog lessons here for this lesson plan, but also for the master classes that I do on my other YouTube channel, Creative Guitar Studio. So I hope to see you next in the members area at creativeguitarstudio.com. Thanks for watching. Click here to subscribe to the Guitar Blog Update YouTube channel and never miss another video. Click here to sign up for your free membership to creativeguitarstudio.com. And if you take out a paid membership, you'll get premium content downloads of jam tracks, lesson handouts, and full access to all the members area video lessons. The Blues Guitar Styles ebook is a masterclass course covering a huge amount of information on the blues style, with 8, 12, and 16 bar blues progressions, classic blues styles, plus all the important chord patterns. There's over 50 pages of information, including sections on blues techniques like slide, alternate tuning, and bending. This ebook has everything the guitar player needs for a solid foundation in blues guitar, including 27 MP3 audio tracks for easy at-home study. Blues Guitar Styles is available for instant download in the View Our Products area at creativeguitarstudio.com.